What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Bridon League. It's the second game of the day. xGame KZ, fresh off a loss, are going to be going up against Basically Unknown, working with one stand, and fucking Mad seems to be gone. Jaw's going to take his place. That's fine. Either way, I'm Mike Loris, going to be joined by Blackadder. I think there's a server issue here, so we're just going to pick and then maybe remake, but either way, there's going to be a draft here.
Indeed, there will be. I'm keeping my eye on the chat so I can keep us informed on what's going on with the remake if necessary. But for this one, Troll Warlord banned out by xGame KZ. They don't want nothing to do with that, and Juggernaut removed by Basically Unknown.
Man, it's so weird to think that just like a couple months ago you see these in the first ban slot and you'd be like, what the hell is going on? This is so wrong. And well, Juggernaut and Troll Warlord just having a huge rise, and well, Lycan is always going to be around, although I don't really know how threatening he really is. This is going to let some pretty powerful heroes get through the pool. Brewmaster, if xGame want it. Also, Venge is a nice, easy way to open up, but you know, it's pretty much all the flavor of the month banned out right now.
Yeah, pretty much, and well, except from Axe. I actually expect to see an Axe pick with these two teams, but we will get Lycan and IO removed as well. I suppose the IO is warranted of a ban. I mean, xGame KZ can handle it, but there's our Axe. No surprises.
Radiant team pick.
Okay. Flavor of the month is in full effect right now, as the Troll, Axe, and Juggernaut all being involved in this game one way or another. And well, Axe is the first pick. He's incredibly powerful just because he runs the early game and it's hard to deal with him. I don't actually know if I've seen an Axe get completely shut down in the laning stage. It's so difficult to do. You need ranged heroes, and ranged heroes with a lot of magic bursts who are also pretty fast. And man, when you're talking about like all those categories, the pool grows smaller and smaller every single time, so having to see a 1v1 matchup that Axe is lost in.
I'm trying to think what heroes could actually manage it. I mean,
it's like Clinks and Viper. It's
Clinks and Viper could, to an extent. Enchantress would actually be very strong about it. And regarding the remake, it's going to be a remake after the draft. They'll load in with all pick, and it'll be on the Stockholm server. So hopefully there will be no internet issues, considering we've got a few players with 300 plus ping right now.
Yeah, we got xGame who are you know, pretty far to the east, and then we got someone from the Americas. I believe Mind Control on Basically Unknown. Although I could be wrong. I have no clue actually. So yeah, we have a whole wide range of people with pings, and no one's going to be happy at the end, but you got to do what you got to do. Basically, I know they're actually taking their time right now, and maybe it's because they're trying to settle this ping thing, or maybe they just don't know what they're going to grab, but Basically Unknown have been performing pretty well recently. The merger of old Denial with, I guess, old Basically Unknown is actually working pretty well in their favor.
Yes, it is, and well, they're going to start up the Lion. I got to say, I've been wanting to cast Basically Unknown for God knows how long. I used to cast Denial every now and then, and that was always fun, but I just haven't had a chance lately to cast Basically Unknown since I was busy during, I think it was Group A of the Bridon League. But nonetheless, they're going to start things up for Lion, now looking for something to maybe combo with this, or something that can fight up against that pesky little Axe.
Yeah, well, Lion is a hero that can, to a certain extent, zone out the Axe, but also to a different extent, Axe is going to be able to shrug all of that off, charge at the Lion, and then Lion has to play a, you know, hit, run away kind of kiting role in lane versus Axe, and that's never really what you want to do. It is, of course, assuming these two heroes are going up against each other. With the Brewmaster pickup from Basically Unknown, it's now not entirely out of the question to see Axe go towards the mid lane and just, you know, have an Axe versus Brewmaster matchup there, and well, Axe should have a good time.
Yeah, I could see Axe Brewmaster working out quite well for xGame, but Abaddon there is going to back up an Axe, and this certainly looks to be a creep-cutting Axe now with the Abaddon pickup.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely some shenanigans that are going to be involved in this game. You have the Abaddon and Axe combo, you said creep cutting is certainly viable. This will probably point a little bit more attention towards the Dazzle, and either, I think Basically Unknown would, you know, be beneficial to take care of that in some way, shape, or form. Picking it up for themselves, maybe not exactly what they want to do, but banning it out seems pretty viable, as it normally is nowadays. It's actually going to be a Beastmaster, so Basically Unknown maybe know something that we don't. I honestly don't know where the Beastmaster fits in here with xGame, aside from lots of physical damage, but that's not really synergy.
Well, if you're going to be creep cutting with the Axe, you can get a Beastmaster mid up against the Brewmaster, and that can work out quite nicely. You get very early access to the Raw, you can then harass with the Whirling Axes. It can work out very well, but it's still a very unorthodox ban.
it is nice, I suppose, if you're going to have a very aggressively moving Axe around the map. You have a Hawk with him, and he'll be able to, call his shots a little bit easier, know exactly what he's going to be blinking into. And in that regard, Beastmaster will always be useful for whoever you're going to partner him up with. But man, that would have been 3 melee heroes. I don't really know if xGame really wanted to do that. So a little bit of questionable ban there. But we see some powerful heroes from xGame being banned out. Viper, maybe to protect their lane just a little bit, and Ancient Apparition to protect that Abaddon. And then the Slark is going to be taken out by basically Unknown. That one is a lot more justifiable, even though they do already have a Lion. It's usually just too much of a pain in the ass to deal with the Slark.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. Slark is just one of those heroes that just snowballs so easily. Hell, in a fight it can snowball because of Essence Shift. Outside of the fight, things like Skadi, just these big stat items. It's insane the power that a Slark can gain.
And Slark is going to be, first of all, not going to be dealt with in this game. Just very simply banned out, and basically Unknown going to grab a Tusk. Man, we've been seeing a lot more Tusk lately as well. I don't know if it's going to get to the point where he is going to be Troll Warlord, Juggernaut Axe status flavor of the month. But I've seen basically Unknown run this hero. Moscow 5 International have been running this hero a hell of a lot. One more team, I don't really remember which one it was. It might have actually been xGame. I'm not entirely sure, but there was another team that was running it quite heavily as well. It's been doing okay, and especially up against an Axe, having a snowball to deny that call, assuming your Tusk isn't caught in it, you're going to be, stalling out for the call, and that's initiation down the tubes of xGame.
Yeah, the Axe against Tusk matchup, it's favourable to the Tusk for that one reason. But of course, you do have to be wary. If you're going to snowball in and Axe counter-initiates from that snowball, that can cause you all manner of problems. But Tusk in the long run, if this is a 4-roll Tusk, I can get behind. Snowball in, into Lion Stun, into Finger of Death. Someone somewhere is going to die.
You may have an Abaddon, you may have Ball Lightning down the line to completely bypass that, but it is still just such a dangerous combination. Unfortunately for xGame, they are probably as well equipped as they could possibly be at dealing with this. Like, having the Abaddon just on your side, having Axe, who is going to just be inherently durable, and Storm Spirit, levels 1 through 5 will be at the mercy of that combination. But generally, from what I've seen, even though Tusks do have a lot of offensive capabilities at early levels, players just don't want to do that, just because it is kind of risky to leave the lane, and if you snowball into a tower or something like that, if you snowball into an Axe, you're just going to die, and it's not going to be worth it for you to rotate out of the lane. So basically Unknown, they do have that offensive power now with their Wind Ranger as their pickup. Maybe they are going to play this a little bit more aggressively. She can certainly help out with the snowball gank.
I'm thinking it might be defensive try up against aggressive creep cutting of Axe, Abaddon, Dazzle. I mean, that just screams, we are going to cut your creeps. But how can basically Unknown dislodge this? They put off-lane Brewmaster, mid-lane Windrunner, Lion Tusk 4 and 5 roll. Then we're looking for something that can fight up against this kind of power from xGame. A few things come to mind to me. Basically, I see a Storm Spirit, and I always do think Anti-Mage, considering Storm Spirit is a walking mana bomb. Yeah. But can you really run Anti-Mage up against Dazzle and Axe? It's a very hard one to call. I mean, other options, Doom does come to mind, but it's going to be rough.
Yeah, Doom's even worse, I think, than Anti-Mage in this particular matchup. I think they have the Shackle, they have the Lion. Storm Spirit, they have answers enough to make sure that he's not going to get completely out of control, and they really have to worry about this dangerous combination of Dazzle, Abaddon, Axe. They need someone who's ranged, and they need someone who could actually deal with that through magical damage. I'm actually liking the Razor here for basically Unknown, just to throw him up against the Axe, Abaddon, and Dazzle, and I mean, they won't be able to catch up to the Razor, let alone kill him. So it seems like just a ranged powerhouse is what they really need right now.
Yeah, I do actually like the idea of a Razor. Razor up against this slot would also bring a good amount of tower push to the table if he does go for the Eye of the Storm build. But as it stands...
Oh, you're muted, by the way, in-game.
Oh, damn it. This is what we get for doing that 1v1.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine, it's fixed now. As it stands, the idea of a Razor, just to steal damage from Axe, to be able to man-fight the tri-lane with the support of a Tusk and a Lion, yeah, I like this idea.
Well, let's see if basically Unknown like this idea as well. I've actually just got some intel. Fucking Matt is going to be here for the remake, so I guess servers going to be switched and players going to be switched out as well. We got a Queen of Pain actually on the side of basically unknown, so it's not exactly the same type of hero that could force this combination of xGame out of the lane, but Queen of Pain could also fight pretty decently. Not as well as the Razor, but she could certainly get the job done.
Yeah, and it does change my interpretation of the lanes up. This is going to be a one-role Wind Ranger, a off-lane Brewmaster most likely, mid-lane Queen of Pain. They've got enough slows, enough kiting power. Hell, they've got enough straight-up pure damage to obliterate xGame if they are not careful. But we are in for quite a brawl-heavy game. The downside of basically unknown, if the Windrunner gets punished, then they are going to have a very, very rough mid to late game. They don't have that big all-purpose carry, really. If a Wind Ranger can get a good start and can, say, get that Maelstrom, then, well, scary times for xGame. But xGame with their final pick, Midstorm Spirit, creep cutting, aggressive try. They need a safe laner. And up against this slot, Weaver, I was about to say, Weaver sounds about right.
You definitely said that before they picked it, so I'll give you that one. Weaver is going to kind of make use of the fact that basically unknown are still on the lighter side of crowd control. Are they all leaving right now? They're already gone, so we're gonna follow suit. And Weaver as the last pick. Again, it's going to be a solid hero in that he will most likely. Whoa, okay, that's fine. He will most likely just be going up solo, and that's usually something that Weaver is fine with. Versus Wind Ranger or Brewmaster, I guess, depending on what basically unknown want to throw up against that Weaver, and either way he will be reasonably fine. And it's also here that can chase down and kill off the Wind Ranger and the Queen of Pain, because the xGame side, they're not really super heavy on the crowd control either, and you do need something to deal with the Wind Ranger, Queen of Pain. Blink Axe is going to eventually do that, but for right now, for the early stages, it's not really going to be quite enough, so they need a little bit more time before they can get that answer going.
I will be in all agreement to that. But this kind of game that xGame have drafted, this is going to be fun. I mean, you draft an aggressive creep cutting axe, you just get fights. And what do I like more than anything? Fights. More fights, the better.
Oh, for sure. We might see just like a very early brawling Tusk, and well, through lore, that's what he likes to do. And wait, who's red? What happened? Mind control? No. Something happened there. Someone is here that wasn't here before.
Yeah, we've got fucking mad is in, and we have lost mind control, gained red. So some funny things going on with the basically unknown lineup, but nonetheless, everything going according to plan.
Yeah, too late to change your draft now, guys. Just grab that lion and just go on your merry way. But yeah, for xGame, it's going to be a very interesting game at the very least. Weaver should be getting, more or less uncontested farm, and well, this Axe Abaddon Dazzle combination, it's incredibly hard to deal with. You need so much damage in order to kill these heroes off, and you try to go for Abaddon, you have to work through the Shallow Grave. You're going to try to kill Dazzle, you have to work through the shields. It's really almost a no-win scenario for basically unknown, and they do have heroes that are kind of capable of doing it, but they need levels. Like, they need levels so badly up against what xGame have, but xGame, they're pretty much good to go with most of the heroes from level 1. Storm Spirit needs level 6, and then after that, they can play very aggressively.
Yeah, this is going to be the order of business, really, for xGame. Get the levels on the Storm Spirit, get the Weaver his safe lane farm, let him do his own thing. Hell, basically, the Weaver's going to have no impact in the first 15 minutes, but as it stands, don't tell me we're going to have another remake. As it stands, it's all down to the aggressive tri-lane. If this tri-lane can make things work and make money flow, then xGame will have an advantage, and I suppose we should get the formalities out of the way.
Well, most of the heroes on xGame still aren't in, but on the unknown side, we got fucking Mad, who's now here, going to be playing that line. Red, going to be handling the Wind Ranger. I actually don't know if that's mind control, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Bambo is going to be on the Queen of Pain, Magoma on the Tusk, and that leaves Paris on the Brewmaster.
And of course, on that flip side of the coin, for xGame, we've got Vlad handling the Dazzle. We're going to have Mantis on the Weaver when he loads back in. Hopefully he'll be able to connect with no problems. We're going to have Bignum playing that Storm Spirit, Stalcat handling the Axe, and Reeves on the Abaddon.
Alright, so we were talking a lot about this offensive tri-lane of xGame. Is there any chance that they just decide not to do this very aggressive Axe shenanigan play?
it's really what their draft screams. I mean, what could they do elsewise? They could put the Axe in the jungle, and then they could support the Weaver. The Weaver could then dive, actually, with the Abaddon backing him up with shields. And I suppose it's going to be an offlane Brewmaster for basically unknown. It could be a very unpleasant time for him. But I'm saying odds are aggro try. Still, I suppose this does lead into my next question. Based on the math and the logic that we're running under, who are you betting on?
Well, I personally think that basically unknown are a stronger team in general. So in that sense, that I kind of want to just give it to them. Although I want to also give it to xGame. If they run the offensive trial that we were talking about, I'm going to give it to them because of style reasons. Otherwise, it's going to unknown.
Style reasons. So
yeah,
you'll stake your
style points
money
are
on
important,
style.
man.
I see. Okay, I'm going to bet on basically unknown. Hands down, they get my bet, considering they've got Finger of Death, they've got the pure damage of a Sonic Wave plus Scream of Pain. They've got so much upfront damage that not even a Storm Spirit, if he with quick reactions, could survive, really, considering Orchid will be pretty much a must on the Queen of Pain. And you can use that Orchid to blow the Dazzle up, take out the Shallow Grave from the equation. I just like the basically unknown lineup a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very solid lineup. The Tusk is probably the most finicky hero in the unknown side, just because he sometimes does everything in the world. Sometimes he just doesn't seem like he's doing anything at all. But we'll see how these lanes actually shape up, because everyone's loading out right now, and it seems like Paris is going to be taking the Brewmaster to the north lane, joined by Lion. There's actually an offensive tri-lane here for unknown, leaving Bambo solo as the Queen of Pain. Now, he is usually going to be playing your off lane for basically unknown. It's Bambo who handles that. The switch of, off lane to safe lane, not really a huge deal, but Queen of Pain in this situation is not going to be able to do that much versus this creep cutting. In fact, she won't be able to do anything. She will be forced to last hit under her tower, and in that sense, she will use a lot of regeneration.
Oh, this could actually be quite bad for Bambo if he's not careful. He doesn't really want to have to skill the blink at level 1, but he might have to should that aggression have gone a little awry. But with an aggressive invasion in the jungle, that's going to be pretty much a conceded bounty rune on the bottom, and they'll get the top bounty rune at least in favour of unknown. But I'm wondering if these lanes are going to shape up as we predicted right now. I mean, Reeves could actually dual lane with the Weaver, and then Dazzle and Axe could be enough up against the Queen of Pain alone, thinking about it.
I mean, Queen of Pain is really good at handling a lane versus one hero, but up against two, things get a lot more dangerous for her. So xGame are going to make the slightly greedier call and say these two heroes are good enough at dealing with Queen of Pain. And I think in that sense, they will be correct. Bambo is going to, get into a fist fight with Vlad, and he will be fine to blink out of there. But this is going to be a dual lane situation actually for xGame. Not really out of necessity, but because they can. A little bit of extra help for the Weaver might go a long way, although I don't really know how easy it's going to be for unknown to kill the Weaver in the first place. They need level 2 on the line at the very least if they're going to get that done.
And we already see the creep cutting starting to take effect here. Bambo, he's going to try to dislodge this with right clicks, but now comes the Dazzle. Dazzle does have that poison touch at level 1, so he's not going to be able to heal or sustain Stalcat. But now the tower is going to start taking some damage, and Stalcat can just start to be the bully that the Axe is. Going to start punishing. Battle Hunger to go seems to be the skill build choice, which is a little bit more unusual, but look at these dots just ticking up. You've got the Battle Hunger, you've got the Poison Touch, and Stalcat's still just cutting creeps. This is going to be so hard for Bambo to stop.
It is generally standard nowadays for axes to go for a Berserker's Call counter Helix type of build, but if you're doing this type of strategy, then getting the Battle Hunger, guaranteeing damage onto Bambo is just so much more important. This actually is going to enable them to get kills in the Queen of Pain, whereas otherwise getting a kill would be very, very difficult, because you have to close in onto her and then cast the call, and that's hard because she has Blink. So this is the correct build, I think, from the Axe. I don't know if you go full on to Battle Hunger. I think 1 or 2 points should be decent enough to handle this lane, but either way, Bambo, because of this situation, she is going to be guaranteed experience as Queen of Pain. There is no way that xGame can really get around that. So Queen of Pain, as long as she doesn't get too close and gets called in, then she will be able to get experience. And really, that's all Queen of Pain needs.
Yeah, I mean, she'll get the levels, and that sure, some gold is nice to build towards that Orchid, but the levels will get her the points up in the dagger, the points in Blink, so she has that shorter cooldown, most importantly. It's going to be very nice, but he has to be very careful of Stalcat's dot right now. If the Battle Hunger flies, plus a Poison Touch, that could kill him, but it's going to seem Vlad's going to secure the rune instead. And as it stands, we've spoken a lot about this bottom lane. Let's take a look at the mid lane matchup, shall we? So 12 for 3 Windrunner up against a 1 for 2 for 0 Bignum. Bignum is just not having a good time.
Yeah, it's not really fair to evaluate it like that because Fucking Mad was camping him as well, so they're going to throw shards over towards the top lane. Mantis is now actually stuck with Fucking Mad. That's actually bad for the Lion. He has to get the hell out of there. Mantis going to lay a lot of damage into this Lion, and well, he'll be perfectly safe. But yeah, the Lion was pretty much dual laning it up with Red for a long time. They were even getting a little bit behind the tier 1 tower to harass the Storm Spirit, so the Lion offering as much help as he can to the Wind Ranger, and it's not really the worst matchup for Wind Ranger to begin with, but just getting that extra bit of help means that she's going to have a lot more momentum. First of all, grabbing the bottle very early, and then having a range advantage, having, I believe, a base damage advantage. Yes, she will have that as well, so this lane should be more and more won by this Wind Ranger moving forward, and level 6 for Bignum is really where he's going to hope to change that.
Yes, it is. And, well, I'm keeping an eye on this bottom lane, considering how defensive Bambo is having to be here. He's got 600 gold to his name, which is going to help him out. I think he might opt for a bottle here, personally, just to let him continue to regen up. He's going for the Scream build, not the Dagger build or more points in Blink, just to survive this lane. So he's being aggressive. He wants to build into that level 6, I'm going to go everywhere kind of build. So we're looking for some early fight, at least around the level 6 marker for basically Unknown at this rate.
Up towards top, Mantis went pretty deep onto Paris. This dual lane of basically Unknown is so safe because Tusk is absolutely terrible versus the Weaver. There's not much that he can do. Even if he does land the shards, Weaver will just Shikuchi, run around them, and be A-okay. So Tusk is not as strongest in this situation, and basically Unknown are getting punished up towards top. Bottom lane is going okay, but that's really not too much going for them overall. They can't do anything versus this Weaver. Lion is a hero that you want versus the Weaver, but Lion and Brewmaster can't do it. That's just not going to work. Vlad is going to tank the tower, actually, will destroy it in the end. So with creep cutting, you're guaranteed that early tower, and Queen of Pain now has a lot less space to maneuver down in this bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, it does mean the Axis most likely going to rotate elsewhere, look to start exerting some pressure, which is one good thing, but the Queen of Pain, Bambo is doing everything he humanly possibly can. I mean, he's 10 for 3. That's more than you would expect versus the creep cutting. But mid, we do have that little action onto Bignum. However, in comes Reeves, and that's just going to be the defensive power of the Abaddon right there.
A little bit of miscommunication actually there for Unknown. They shackle and spike at the exact same time. Neither of those two skills have a huge amount of stun duration, but if they layer it correctly, if they decide to throw the Hex out, that could have probably been a kill on the Storm Spirit, even with the Abaddon coming in. Bignum, though, is still around. Shackle's going to miss, but here comes Lion from the back. Shards are going to land. They also have a Hex. They really don't want to use it. Bignum, they're going to have to. He's going to get healed up. Almost a full Magoma now in a lot of trouble, actually. Will stick up. Might actually get away from this one, though. Bignum should be fast enough with one more right click. There it is. First blood. Going to be drawn by Bignum. Now going to try to go for Fucking Mad with the Grave on himself. Is going to get 2. Now going to try to go for Red. That Wind Run is active, so Red's not going to die yet, but he also will not get the kill on Bignum. This is the power of the Dazzle and Abaddon. Offensively, they're usually really bad, but if they can protect someone who's good offensively, like that Storm Spirit, then you're going to be golden. And they're not done yet, actually, because Stallcat's coming around from behind, has a call, will land it onto Red. Miscoil is there. Not too many spins, but a huge nuke from that Dazzle is going to get the kill on the Wind Ranger. 3-0 now in favor of xGame.
What an early flurry of aggression coming out of xGame. This is what they need to do, though. They need to lock down and punish this Windrunner and the Queen of Pain. If those two heroes get nothing, the late game and mid game is pretty much secured for xGame. And you consider, what is the Storm going to go for in this one? It's going to be their Orchid. That's going to completely decimate the Unknown lineup.
Once that Orchid comes in for Unknown, there's not really too much they can do except for hope the Lion gets the Hex off first. And the odds of that happening are pretty darn slim. So 3-0 by no means damning for basically Unknown, but they're definitely not off to the start that they would really like right now. As usually you could expect the Wind Ranger and the Queen of Pain to do very well in their lanes, and the Brewmaster, you know, even maybe to a lesser extent, but these three heroes are just heroes that generally just don't lose their lanes, but they're just not doing too well. And Bignum's quickly approaching that level 6 mark, and he's going to have that actually right now. He's now turned on, and Axe almost has Blink Dagger. He's almost on as well. xGame are going to be able to initiate a lot easier towards basically Unknown. Then you have a lot more pressure on your Tusk to save people with snowballs.
Yeah, that's going to have to be what the Tusk is doing this entire game. Just play that defensive role. Do what you can to control the battlefield with ice shards and defend his team with the snowball. Go aggressive where he can. But it's not the role where you really want your Tusk to be. Tusk is one of the best aggressive 4-role supports in the game right now if played by a good player. I mean, as you mentioned, Moscow 5 international player. I believe that's Screen they'll be on that, though. And he's probably the Tusk player that I think of the most when I look at the hero.
Yeah, he was playing Tusk before it was cool, so he knows exactly what he's doing, and everyone else is just a little bit late to the party, but I think Screen is definitely the most notable Tusk player, at least in my mind, at this point in time. But aside from that, xGame, they have the Blink Dagger on Axe. That's one thing to check off. They're going to actually get caught out with Vlad. He is dead right now. Hex, Spike, Scream of Pain, very easy kills on the Dazzle, who quite honestly shouldn't be down on this bottom lane all by himself with absolutely no vision, so he's kind of asking for that one to happen, but Unknown get on the board either way.
Yeah, now that Unknown are on the board, they might be able to get something. I mean, killing the Dazzle is nice, especially considering the Dazzle doesn't get a chance to cast any spells. They need more, and they need their levels first. I mean, we don't have level 6 on anyone except the Queen of Pain. As for mid lane, though, Red in a lot of trouble. Does get that Windrun off by some time, but you can't Windrun a Cull. Stylecat, he's starting to cleave now, pretty damn strong.
And Storm Spirit is also going to be able to follow up with that Ball Lightning. That's the really scary part for Unknown. They need their Tusk there or their Lion there, ideally both, but they can't be everywhere at the same time. And xGame, just like that, they have enough to go again. They have enough for a Blink Call Blink Call into a Culling Blade, and that could easily get kills. They're going to try to go for a fight in mid. Bambo and force Bignum out for right now. Luckily for him, man, xGame are nowhere near that area, so Bambo's not going to be punished, but he's actually going to blink forward, looking for that Abaddon, who's actually pretty weak right now. Has a Coil Suicide available to him. Sonic Wave, though, is going to deny any hopes of that, and Queen of Pain is going to draw yet another kill. Seems like Queen of Pain, though she had a very slow start, that experience is still working very well for her. Also, coincidentally, xGame haven't gone for initiation on the Queen of Pain yet, so there is that to consider, but 2-4 and Queen of Pain is actually slowly starting to get to a point where she can snowball out of control.
Yeah, the Queen of Pain, such a level-dependent hero. Items secondary to levels on her, and if she can just get those, it's absolutely fine. As Red does take a lot of harassment from this Weaver. Windrun is down. Shackle, not going to latch. Power Shot does some good damage, but Mantis can now just start raining death. Does time lapse away, doesn't really want to risk diving too far, especially considering the Tusk is rotating in, and this ward here reveals that Tusk's rotation. So quite the little good bit of tactical play there, but mid lane, Bambo blinks in, catches Bignum with the help of Paris, and that's going to be one easy kill going the way of basically Unknown.
Wow, burst damage from Brewmaster without a Blink Dagger, somehow managing to kill off a Storm Spirit, I can only assume was just a little bit too overconfident in the situation, but either way, it's going to be one more kill towards Unknown, and Stallcat also, well, he's going to be jungling very aggressively in the enemy side of the map. He has to back off. It's going to be Red in the most trouble, though. He's going to run into the Weaver. He thought the Weaver was gone. He's going to Power Shot because he can, and now gets snowballed back in. That's not where you want to go. Wind Ranger wants to go the other way, Magoma. He has Ice Shards to maybe block this ramp, and he will do so. TP out. I didn't notice that Tusk waves when he TPs, but he's going to piece on out of there, and Red is going to be fine.
And if there wasn't a bad mana animation better than that, I don't know what is. But Bignum rotates into this mid lane. Paris is invis, though. This could actually be quite nasty for the Storm if there's any form of rotation or stun. I mean, you got Bambo here with quite a bit of damage as well, but you're going to mess with Reeves instead. They're going to try to bring down the Abaddon. He still doesn't have a 6. That's perfect, but now Bignum reinitiates onto Bambo with the stun, but he gets the turnaround. That's a double Earth Spike coming out the line and a Finger of Death. That's 3 easy kills for Sexy Bambo. Ice Shard to go forward. Might look for Vlad now as well. He could be brought down. What it will take is a good bit of damage, a couple of right clicks, and a Power Shot to clean that one up. Another kill going the way of Unknown.
4-for-0 exchange. And a Brewmaster level 8, you could usually get that type of exchange if you use your split, but it wasn't even needed there. The Axe had like the unluckiest blink of all time, and they also lose a Courier. Oh my god, why? I don't know why the Courier was there, but they also lose that, so 4 kills for Basic Unknown plus a Courier, a massive series of wins for them. Yeah, Axe just blinked in the wrong place. He blinked right into a spike, got the call off eventually, but it just wasn't enough at that point, so he was soon to fall, and Paris killing off the Abaddon with the help of the Queen of Pain to start things off. Storm Spirit got hexed. There's nothing you could do at that point as any hero, let alone a Storm Spirit, so 7-4, and basically Unknown bring in all the right heroes that have, good reinforcement. Really, it's the fact that fucking Mad was there at the right place at the right time, as his crowd control effects really just let them get away with that. Top lane, though, Mantis was left all alone in the meantime, so he will take the rest of that tier 1 tower, so you know, next game they're not going to walk away from this empty-handed, but here comes a very fast Snowball plus Sexy Bambo. Snowball's going to connect to Reeves, looking for a shackle shot. He's going to throw it onto Reeves, won't quite connect, but they have so many stuns. Reeves will be dying nonetheless. Sonic Wave flying through Mantis. He is stuck right now. Will time-lapse out of the shards. Here comes Bignum. Will try to go for Sexy Bambo, who's going to run off to the side. Now going to try to go for Red instead, but with the pull, it's going to be nullified by that wind run. Red's still in a lot of trouble, though. He still has 10 stick charges. He doesn't have any support here. Will throw another shackle. A very long connection. In the meantime, Axe is going to be killing off one in the back end. It's going to be Lion to fall, but Brewmaster to take the even trade there. It looks like that should just about be the end of it overall. xGame taking a 1-kill lead in that trade as Weaver barely gets away from that situation with his life. Manta's very lucky to be alive. Now going to pick a fight with Bambo. Don't really know if this is a fight that he could win because there's another Scream online, and Scream does go through Invis. Bambo cutting it pretty close, but it looks like he'll blink Scream. Not enough. Bambo with the plays, but man, 6-0-2. Queen of Pain is getting out of control, slowly but surely.
Indeed, and for the Queen of Pain, and we keep mentioning the Orchid, but first item, Ultimate Orb. This is a Rush Sheep Stick. That is such a good choice in this case. I mean, you can't get out of a sheep. BKBs, no, if you sheep first, it's golden. I like this kind of aggressive pickup as long as Bambo can finish it. He needs to keep this momentum going with kills. It is an absolute must in this case.
That's the riskiest part about going for a sheep stick ever, is that it does require that Mystic Staff, and Mystic Staff has quite the price tag. So there's a chance Queen of Pain is going to be sitting on his ultimate orb for a very long time. But as it stands right now, top or bottom lane Smoke nullified by basically Unknown. At the same time, they nullified one of xGame. So it seems like the Dazzle just getting on the shorter end of night vision, and Smoke's being traded. Nothing really going to happen there. Unknown, they are grouped up as 4, but it's usually going to be pretty good for them. The problem is that their 5th, Bambo, isn't there. He needs to be one of the 4, if not the 5th hero to be joining this fight, because xGame, they still have so much power with their blinkers, their Storm Spirit, their Axe. They can take a fight 4v5 like it's nothing, especially when Stallcat is still smoked up. He's not going to find anyone. This night vision's still working pretty decently for xGame, but up towards top, Bignum is thinking about making a jump on towards Bambo. It's probably not the best idea because Bambo is very tanky with that ultimate orb. So nothing's going to happen there. Instead, Unknown, they're going to be wandering around, snowball forward, looking for Mantis. But Mantis has Shikuchi. It will connect anyway, though. There's a spike, power shot, Finger of Death. I guess he just didn't see the snowball coming. Night vision is working its magic here, and basically Unknown are going to be reaping the benefits.
Plus, this area is absolutely littered with sentry wards. There are sentry wards everywhere there. There's not a chance of escaping them. Top lane, though. Bignum gets exploded by Bambo. Wicked 6-3 for him, and he's going to survive the tower. He blinks that last strike, and, well, this is a 7-0-2 Queen of Pain. It doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, we're not done yet. Over towards bottom lane, Vlad fails Shackle, Walrus Punch at full HP. The snowball is reserved, though, for that TP out, and Vlad, he is going to fall right now. He has no support incoming. Wind Ranger is going to claim that kill. 12-7, and Unknown, they are getting out of control. Queen of Pain, it seems like she's right on track for getting that that fast sheep stick. Over towards top lane, I don't really know what Paris is doing. He's trying to go kill the Axe with his ultimate, and Brewmaster ultimate actually doesn't do too much damage, so that's not really going to work out too well. However, they're going to catch Mantis. Is there any truce out here? Yes, there is. Do they have enough? It's going to be just short. They don't have the Hex available. Mantis going to chase forward, but Bambo is actually here. It's a trap. Mantis is going to take a hell of a lot of damage. He will get Shadow Struck. Still alive, though, and because Paris is so weak, they will decide to back off instead. Mantis is really the one xGame who seems to be performing to his full capacity right now, even though everyone in xGame, they have the tools, they have the right heroes right now to be, you know, demolishing that of basically Unknown. It just seems like it's not going well enough for them, as basically Unknown pretty much have more heroes at any given moment, at every given place.
The problem is this Axe didn't come online soon enough, and even though he's got his Blink now going for the Blade Mail, you've got to contend with the Queen of Pain that didn't really get punished that much in our bottom lane. Sure, the tier 1 fell, but they didn't kill the Queen of Pain at all with this kind of creep-cutting aggressive Axe. It's the weakness of what happened in this game so far. I mean, you need to kill this Queen of Pain. You cannot ignore the Queen of Pain.
They're not going to. Over in the top river, they're going to jump onto Bambo. They have a Culling Blade ready and waiting. There it is. Queen of Pain is going to lose her Wicked 6 streak to Axe. A lot of gold in the Axe's pocket. Not really a fantastic hero to use that gold, but you know what? They kill off the Queen of Pain. They slow down the Sheep Stick for just a little while longer, and that's a free pickup for them. They actually might want to look for a push thereafter, but actually no, Brewmaster doesn't have his ultimate, so this push should be successful for xGame, as Unknown will be unwilling to defend. But I mean, they have a Shadow Blade on Wind Ranger, they have a Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster, they have a Blink Dagger that's soon up on the Lion. Though xGame can take this tower very easily, the next one is going to be staunchly defended by Unknown.
Indeed, it will be. And, well, we do have that full blade mail now online for Axe, so we can look to do some things. Red messing around with Stylecat a little bit. That's not exactly going to go well for Stylecat at this rate. There's the shackle. That's so bad for the Axe. If he falls here, that's going to be huge. And the regen rune does tick up on Red. He's going to go back to full health as mid lane, everyone has to back away from the xGame lineup. They can't really risk going in.
Oh, power shot, blind Red. Almost tagged Axe with it. It wouldn't have been lethal, but still, when you get hit by that, you're going to be very, very scared for your life as an Axe. Red not done yet. Shadowblade is going to creep around the tower looking for that Axe. This time there's a Dazzle here, however, and Stallcat is pretty much at full HP right now, so Red's going to turn tail and run. That's nothing you could really do about that as the Wind Ranger, but still, she is packing a lot of power. Shadowblade Wind Ranger, not exactly the build that we see all the time, and it is certainly punishable, but as long as she's looking for these angles, Shadowblade lets you position yourself very slowly, and that's what you want as Wind Ranger, to get that perfect angle. Fucking Mad, he's gonna get jumped up towards top though. Mantis is gonna get blown up, however, Finger of Death being committed, and Fucking Mad's still alive. He's going to survive. Now with the Blink Dagger in tow, he's gonna be able to blink out of here. And my god, that spike plus the Sonic Wave combination is working wonders for Unknown. Axe is going to jump in there after the creep wave, inconveniently for Bambo, is going to come in. Stallcat's going to get the dunk onto Queen of Pain. Will collect a kill there. So xGame don't walk away from that empty-handed, but somehow Lion gets out of there, and it's Queen of Pain to fall.
Yeah, a bit of a flurry from both teams right now. You have to respect the power of this Axe. He does have that Blade Mail now, which is not something to shrug at. I mean, Blade Mail against Queen of Pain, I think Blade Mail tends to win with the right initiation from the Axe. But still, as this stands, I mean, we look at the graphs. With 18 minutes in, that's quite the spiky graph, still in favour of Unknown by about 3.5k. Experience-wise, though, very spiky, and that graph can still go either way. It's only a 3k experience lead for Unknown as well. But this could go awry right now. Vlad gets blown up down near the enemy Ancients.
xGame's detection status right now is absolutely 0. Axe has a call which can, if they know Wind Ranger is there, blow her Shadowblade, force her out of invis, but outside of that, they need to get sentries, because Wind Ranger is going to be assassinating people. It's not exactly like Clinks, but it's a very Clinks-esque kind of way to play this hero. It's Clinks if Clinks had a stun, so that seems pretty dangerous to me, and Red's actually holding on to a lot of gold, 2,400 on her. I don't know if you go for a Maelstrom in this case as Wind Ranger, but I'm pretty sure you just go for a more damage-oriented build. As Unknown, if this does end up going towards a late-game scenario, Brewmaster, Wind Ranger, Queen of Pain, not exactly the strongest late-game heroes when you compare them to a Weaver. So I feel like if this Wind Ranger grabs a Lightning Hammer, she will be able to make that transition a lot easier.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a case of a Maelstrom into maybe Diagonums into a Mjolnir. That kind of build will give you such a good damage potential. I mean, as well as just the sheer fighting power necessary. But I still find the Shadowblade build unorthodox. But you know what it's about unorthodox builds. They're the line between genius and insanity. In this case, it's working out quite nicely.
So Bambo, he had the ultimate orb for quite a long time now. He has 800 gold, which means he bought something, and it was actually Perseverance. So unless he wants to do something really weird, it seems like it's going to be a Lincoln Sphere for the Queen of Pain. It's not a bad item on the hero, but you're holding so much gold for so long, I feel like you just go for Sheepstick at that point, which is almost objectively a better item.
I was thinking Sheepstick would be the order of business as well, but we consider what a Lincolns will actually block in this game. Cull, I suppose, Poison Touch, the stun from the Storm Spirit. There's not really much other than that, and Miscoil can still be used to pop a Lincolns wherever it goes. So I'm not actually liking this kind of Lincolns build.
Yeah, you don't really have a Lion to worry about on the other end. If you're blocking a Hex or something, then yeah, Lincolns is going to be the order of business every single time, but no one really cares if you block a Battle Hunger. It's not going to impact the game at all. Or a Mist Coil. It's not going to do anything. So yeah, I don't really know if this Lincolns is going to really do its work. It's going to get value. It's going to be blocking skills, but this is a very steep investment for something that might not have huge benefits. Bottom lane, next game, they're going to be pushing this tower as Mantis is forced to time-lapse rather early. Has a rather low cooldown. Maybe they're going to play it slow and steady, or maybe they're just going to want to jump onto Bambo up towards top. Bambo is going to get caught with the call, and he will get the Lincoln Sphere pop, so there goes your value right there. He will blink out of there this time. Regen Rune going to get him up a little bit of health, and he also has the Brewmaster right next to him. Maybe they're going to look to make a jump in on Vlad, but it'll be a mistake because everyone on xGame is going to reinforce this top lane. And the Sexy Bambo is actually still in a little bit of trouble. The vision here for Unknown is actually pretty good, but they're going to succumb to greed. Big Num's going to get jumped, not bursted down, though. 1 HP as he uses the Soul Ring to get himself out of there. That was a slick gank attempt from Bambo and Paris, but just falling short.
That was perfect play from Bignum. That was beautiful to watch. They were so close to death and still surviving. That's the epitome of Storm Spirit. You play Storm Spirit by riding on the seat of your pants, really. But now Bambo goes to contest the rune and is going to run into Mantis and Reeves. This could be unpleasant, and again, the Lincolns is forced by a spell that really is just there to pop the Lincolns. I'm still unsure about this Lincolns. Maybe we'll have to ask him between the games.
Yeah, so 15 for 9 unknowns seemingly stopped as far as their momentum is concerned. They have a level 2 split. They are working with the Brewmaster going for Vlad's. We'll have we'll have that available soon enough, and they're actually looking for Vlad now. That's a much easier kill. Use your ball lightning and get out of there, Vlad. Actually, they're going to turn tail and run with that Grave. The dot damage won't quite be enough to kill off the Dazzle. Vlad is going to be fine, as Unknown not willing to risk who's around the corners. They did have an Observer Ward there, but Unknown, it seems like they just have run out of steam right now. They need to get this back up online, because if they stall out, then this Weaver's going to get really big really quickly. Maybe it's going to be a Roshan attempt, maybe it's going to be a random tier 1, or maybe they're just going to be looking for pickoffs 24/7, but they're not getting pickoffs, so you're just wasting time if you're just looking for them.
No, they need these pickoffs, but I do like these items that are starting to come online. For the Dazzle, we get a Medallion, which is an item that I love to see on this hero. I go on about Veil of Discord on so many heroes, but Dazzle and a Medallion go hand in hand. But Stalker in a lot of trouble, gets hexed up, goes down to the Finger of Death. You can't really survive that. This is, what, a level 11 Lion, level 2 Finger of Death. That's going to obliterate someone.
It almost obliterated himself, because Blade Mail came up right before that. So fucking mad, lucky to be out of there alive. Up towards top lane, Paris is all alone. The split pushing Brewmaster, probably not going to be doing too much. He's not in any trouble of dying right now, but this is the worst way to use your split. Just running away from random heroes because you're in a position that you shouldn't have been in the first place. He is going to try to turn things around with Queen of Pain incoming. xGame should know that something's happening right now, because Brewmaster should be running otherwise. Here comes Bambo. Rock onto Reeves as Bambo is going to try to line up a Sonic Wave, is going to throw it onto Bignum. That's not going to get the kill on Storm Spirit, but they will have a snowball there. Bignum is going to take a fall one way or another, will go down, and now they're going to try to deal with Mantis and Reeves. This is a fight that Unknown can win right now. Mantis is going to drop pretty low, has a time lapse out of here, but the burst damage, he will time lapse out in the nick of time. Bambo also blinks out of here. They instead throw the Hex the way of Reeves. He already uses borrowed time, and therefore he has no escape out of this. A little bit of mana for Fucking Mad, and Reeves will eventually be going down. There it is. Paris is going to take a fall. Mantis still here, still wants to fight versus Fucking Mad. First hit dodge by the Blink Dagger. He has a Spike. They have Bambo there. Spike is going to be thrown. Mantis is burstable right now. Sexy Bambo, though, with not enough mana, not enough cooldowns to get it. Fucking Mad is going to get decapitated. And in the meantime, Unknown, well, Red is the only one not in that party. He's on the bottom lane taking that tier 2 tower. Overall, it's a trade that definitely favors the Radiant side. Although, that probably shouldn't have gone that way for xGame. If your Brewmaster splits like that and he sits there looking to fight, you know that there are reinforcements coming if you're xGame. You know that you either have to reinforce with everyone or get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement to that, and I'm just going to hop to a comment made in chat at the moment. Snapshot was saying that the Storm's getting Orchid, that's why we see a Lincolns. Sure, I could understand that logic, but it's not what's happening in this game. The Storm is going to be going for what looks like a Bloodstone, considering. I mean, it's a bit of a mismatch. He's got components for a Bloodstone as well as one Robe of the Magi component towards an Orchid, so maybe a bit up in the air about the item choice.
Yeah, that's not really how the items work. If you're sitting on an ultimate orb and you have the opportunity to get an offensive item, you go for that offensive item if you're that far ahead. Going for a defensive item as a precaution for something that might come later is entirely the wrong way to play Dota, so that is definitely not the justification behind the Lincoln Sphere. At least it's not substantial enough, I would say. I'm willing to argue with anyone on that one, but either way, it is going to be Red once again, packing that Shadow Blade. He's on the hunt. Aghanim Scepter with the Focus Fire does do quite a bit of damage, not really to heroes because they'll be able to Shikuchi out, they'll get help from their allies, but towards the towers, especially Bignum, with the Soul Booster there, that's not an Orchid. Red is going to be on the hunt, and he won't find anyone just yet, but Unknown, they're going to lose their courier, not really too relevant as it wasn't holding anything, but they're looking for this tower push.
Well, if they can get the tower, that's going to be all well and good, but we look at the kind of group up that we're starting to see from xGame. I'm going to point this out, Axe has himself an Aghanims, so the higher range Colmark is there, the 6-second cooldown flat is there. This is going to be quite nice for xGame, but we do see multiple gems on the board now. There's a gem flying out for Reeves, that's going to help in tracking down this Shadow Blade Windrunner, which I never thought I would have to say in a pro game, versus the gem that is there for the Tusk, or was there for the Tusk. There was a gem present at some point for Unknown a few minutes ago. It's actually on the Queen of Pain right now for hunting down the Weaver as a mid lane. Bit of a scuffle. Fucking Mad does take the Battle Hunger, but Stalcat's not going to be able to get him, I don't think. Unless he goes over aggressive. Hex is there. The response comes in from the Tusk, but doesn't catch the shard range. Unfortunately, it's a bit too short, but Roshan goes down to red on that Wind Ranger, and, well, an immortal Windrunner that's had a Shadow Blade and making plays left, right, and center seems to be the nastiest thing in this game so far.
Yeah, being able to solo Roshan with their Wind Ranger, it's not something that would cross many players' mind, as Wind Ranger doesn't get lifesteal. She has Wind Run to dodge hits, so she's kind of survivable in that sense, but having the Aghanims, having a double damage rune certainly helps as well, so Red is going to grab that Aegis for herself, and, well, that's something that xGame really didn't expect. Unknown, they were playing pretty much as they should over in the mid lane, maybe a little bit light on the reinforcements, but xGame, they didn't see anything weird, and why should they? You don't expect the Wind Ranger to be soloing Roshan. You don't expect Unknown to be Roshing at all. I mean, they don't have good Roshing heroes on their side, so xGame caught blindsided. They're going to try to blink forward Fucking Mad, but Fucking Mad sees that one coming a mile away. Unknown, they're seemingly wanting to go for something here, but Bambo wants more farm. He now has an Orchid himself, a rather late one on the Queen of Pain, but he is able to do a truckload of damage if he actually wants to fight right now, which I think Unknown should be looking to do.
Yep, and this does force Bignum to go either for a BKB or a Linken's himself. Most likely the role of a BKB in this game, as a Bloodstone's flying out to him right now. He's playing very defensive though, which I'm really unsure about with the Storm build, but nonetheless, other items of import coming up. We do have a Maelstrom for red, so Maelstrom, Shadowblade, Aghanims. This really looks like it'll be painful for xGame to take the next fight.
If any hero gets hexed and focused fired, you can throw all the heals you want. You're going to die unless you get graved, and even then, like, unless you peel away the Wind Ranger, which is hard to do, you're most likely going to be chased down and killed one way or another. So this Wind Ranger is packing some serious heat right now, and if she gets a little bit of help through a landed shackle or a hex, then heroes in xGame are going to die. xGame, they're going to try to push the top lane with the Desolator Weaver. Killing off towers is going to be fairly easy for them. Weaver is getting a lot of farm, but everyone else on Unknown is getting a lot more farm. It's going to be a toss-up as to whether or not Weaver can do this more or less by himself, because Storm Spirit with just the Bloodstone, he's able to do a little bit. He's going to be very distracting, yes, but I don't really know if Unknown are going to be too worried about Storm Spirit.
No, I don't think they're going to be worried about a Storm Spirit really either, considering, as I say, lack of the offensive item choices. This is pretty much purely defensive right now, but if I look, say, towards, in this case, the Axe is the offense on xGame's lineup. He needs to be there for these fights, especially with the Weaver, considering the Axe needs to frontline the damage. Weaver has no defensive items, has gone full offensive. I mean, not even a Linken's when you could see the threat of a Sheepstick or an Orchid for the Queen of Pain, but this is a bit of a mismatch of items. Bottom lane, though, we do get a bit of a flurry going. Stalcat, well, I don't see him escaping this one very easy. Power shots there, and he's just getting torn apart. Red, however, could be in a bit of trouble here if the spins come out, but the Coal's not going to land in time. However, Bignum tries to come in to save for the Axe, not getting there in time, however, and does force the Aegis, however, of Red. That's going to be quite nice towards them, and in the meantime, Sexy Bambo does do a bit of a scare towards the Weaver in that bottom rune spot, but as it stands, 1-0 in favour of xGame.
It took her quite a long time to kill Axe, as it should, but the fact of the matter is she was able to solo kill an Axe and was in a little bit of trouble for herself during that, but she is packing some serious heat, and she did not even have a Maelstrom on her hero while that was going on, so she will be able to do that a lot easier in the next time and then the next time following. So it's probably not too great for Unknown to be using an Aegis just to get a random kill like that, but they weren't planning on doing anything else, it seems. Paris up towards the top is going to get jumped by Bignum. Once again, Paris is in a situation where he's going to have to use his split. He's going to try to go for this tower deny. Will land it, actually, or will destroy it. Here comes Bambo, actually, going to get the silence onto Bignum. Sonic Wave is there. I think Orchid is going to outright kill him unless he suicides right now, but it's too late. He's already dead. They're also going to catch Mantis with that spike. Even though you're invis, you're going to get caught. Finger of Death to follow up. I think there's a gem. Yes, there is on Sexy Bambo. So xGame lose their two most important, heaviest hitters. And now, well, blink forward from Stallcat. Gonna connect onto 0 heroes. Now he's trapped from shards. Cannot go anywhere. There's a Walrus Punch waiting for him, which will lock him down even further. He's gonna get healed up by everything in the kitchen sink, but that won't be enough because eventually he will go down. It's gonna be the Tusk to draw it. Now they're gonna go for Reeves, also sticking around for a little bit too long. Here comes Storm Spirit, back from the dead, looking to do everything by himself. Will kill off the Lion, but the Snowball's there. Will stun him once. There's no Orchid just yet from Bambo, but he will have that one soon. Wind Ranger also coming into this fight soon enough. enough. Bambo going to disengage. Red, though, going to land a nice shackle onto 2 with the focus fire. Going to open up onto Reeves. He will pop the borrowed time and will start to get out of there, but instead going to change his mind, go for Vlad. That's a much easier kill. It's a kill that will happen. There it is. Bignum now very low on mana. In fact, he's almost completely out. He has enough for a little bit more ball lightning, but it won't be enough. He'll get a little bit more distance, but Bambo is going to be so sticky onto the Storm Spirit. He will chase down for another Scream of Pain. Couple more right clicks. The Abaddon's keeping Bignum alive right now by such a small margin, and it looks like the Storm Spirit will survive. Weaver is now back online, and there's no more Lion here for Unknown. So they can't actually kill off this Weaver. They have to just try to run away. Magoma is going to be trying to sacrifice himself for the Wind Ranger, although it looks like Wind Ranger was going to be fine. Don't really know where Magoma's going, but I can tell you one thing. It's the wrong direction. He's going to be the casualty right now. Everyone else on Unknown going to be fine. But that Storm Spirit, man, barely living as the Bloodstone getting some serious value there, but still Unknown taking a nice fight going their way, and it's not over just yet because Stallcat's going to be jumped over in the mid lane. Orchid is there. Sonic Wave isn't. But with Paris coming in with the clap, Stallcat really doesn't have any chance of escaping. He will be taking a fall to the Orchid damage. Bignum going to dodge a clap, now trying to go for fucking mad. Dropping very low. Finger Death is going to be thrown because he knows he's dead. Abaddon's going to secure the kill with that coil. In the meantime, off to the side, Mantis can chase down second Bambo. There's a blink here, and Bambo should be fine. Red's going to land another 2-man shackle onto Vlad and Reeves. Those two heroes are just magnets, and Red is on fire right now. Looking for Mantis, perhaps. Has Paris here as well. Blink clap, but with no Lion here, they, again, cannot kill a Weaver unless a Miracle Shackle lands. But after all is said and done, it is Unknown to take more kills, I think, overall.
Indeed it is. That gold's changed slightly, and I mean very slightly, favouring Unknown across those two engagements across the top and mid lane. That was quite the drawn-out fight, though, and, well, I think you need to take a breath, so this pause might help you out. As it stands, if we take a quick look at the graphs, it still does not really dent much of it. Unknown, 14,000 gold lead. Experience-wise, over 15,000 experience for Unknown. It's quite the staggering lead, and, well, xGame have certainly proven that they can fight up against Unknown, but they have to be careful with their aggression. If they are too overzealous, then they will start losing heroes at the end of these fights. If they, say, disengage after that flurry at the top lane, possibly. But diving for the Lion, losing the axe again, it's a really hard one to call. But maybe meter their aggression a tiny bit more.
I think for Unknown, their ability to take fights is going to be revolving around this Lion and the Weaver. If the Weaver is dead, take a fight, do whatever the hell you want, you're going to be golden. If the Lion is dead and the Weaver is not, however, then I don't really see Unknown being able to take that fight. Mantis is not doing the most damage in the world. He's doing quite a bit. I mean, he has a Desolator, he's level 15. With 3,000 gold in the bank, he will become a much larger threat, but the Spike is, so far for Unknown, the MVP, I think. Like, the Spike is constantly landing on the Weaver. You may press your Shikuchi button, but you will get hit with the Spike, and then the Hex is going to follow up shortly after, and by that time, you will be out of Shikuchi time, so the Lion is pretty much the most important hero for Unknown. Queen of Pain can do it to a lesser extent, but not really the greatest with that Orchid surprise, and no one else has any form of hard disable that's really reliable. So Fucking Mad is, at this point, one of the most important heroes for Unknown to play around and or keep alive.
He's in most ways the linchpin. Hex, Shackle, Hex, Spike. He's got the mobility of a Force Staff, of a Blink Dagger. He can do a lot of work in these fights. And you know what I would actually like to see if he could get the money for it? An Aghanims. Just because his Finger of Death has been a decimating force in dealing with that bug. It is the walking bug zapper.
And if he somehow gets enough money to grab that, then that would be huge. Just being able to zap everyone every single time. Aside from that, I don't think there's any huge item that he could pick up right now. I would like to see actually one of these heroes on Unknown. I honestly don't care who it is, whether it's the Brewmaster, Wind Ranger, or Queen of Pain. Someone should be grabbing a Sheepstick. Probably the Wind Ranger, actually. It seems like the strongest hero there, but it's going to be Bambo to grab the second Maelstrom of the game, and, well, I guess now we have a Mjolnir. Red's going to pick up the Hammer of Thor. This Wind Ranger is going to be doing a truckload of damage, and Unknown getting some pretty serious benefits off of that last fight. And they have a tier 2 tower to take over in mid lane. Odds are xGame aren't going to defend that if they Unknown make that push. So Unknown, they are getting pretty far ahead right now, and they are comfortably in the lead.
Double damage.
And if they can maintain that kind of lead and start to get pressure onto the objectives, that being the tier 3 towers, that's going to be absolutely perfect. But I hear Cole's was just for movement speed, it seems, from Stalcat. And we are seeing ping outs towards that bottom lane. Is this going to be a case of they collapse and try to go onto red? This isn't going to be the easiest thing, though, considering all the supports are nearby. Power Shot goes in towards the Roche pit. They know Stalcat's there, and just checking the Roche. Well, I'm wondering how long a Roche time we're going to be looking at. Is it going to be that 8-minute respawn, or are we going to see a slightly longer one?
Well, the shorter it is, the better it is for Unknown. If it spawns right as soon as we see it, then then Unknown are going to dive right in, and they're going to be able to secure it, or at least force a fight around it. And at this point, they're far enough ahead to comfortably take that. Stalcat is hiding in the trees. Wind Ranger walking right by, invisible, is going to be power shotting, probably not revealed, but Stalcat, oh, don't move, Axe, don't breathe. He has no opportunity to initiate right now, although he kind of does because no, they're going to find him actually. Stalcat's going to get the call onto only one, however. Fucking Mal's going to get in there with the spike. Finger of death. That's the death of the Axe right now. It was blade mailed, and that will be the death of the Lion as Bignum assassinates him, but he gets silenced. No more ball ending for him, and Red's going to claim a double. Now looking for a shackle. It might not even be necessary as Vlad's going to get snowballed. That's one dead. This tornado onto the Abaddon is going to mean that's most likely going to be 2 dead. Reeves is going to pop the borrowed time, but he's shadow struck. He's not going to be moving very fast, and Red also has the focus fire on him. That's a triple kill for Red. Courier, for some reason, right on top of the corpse. And xGame Mantis is not able to do anything in that fight because they get initiated upon. That could have been so great for xGame if Axe was hidden for just a little while longer, but Bambo, he smelled something coming from a mile away. Now they're going to try to jump onto Mantis. They have an Orchid there, and Mantis is going to fall. He has no time lapse. He was silenced. Storm Spirit's back alive. He'll jump right in for Magoma, but killing off a Tusk right now doesn't even matter, really. He's going to burn a lot of his mana. He's still falling short. Magoma is still alive. He might go down. He is going to survive. 50 HP, and Bignum, demoralized by the lack of kills, is going to call GG, and I think it is just all over for xGame.
It seems to be. I mean, Unknown have been dominating throughout this entire game, and if xGame had gone for slightly different item choices, maybe be more aggressive, possibly, but you can't just sit back and play defensive when you've got a Queen of Pain, a Windrunner, and a Tusk running riot on your team. It's nuts, and, well, basically Unknown show that they can win games easily.
Alright guys, that is going to be it. Basically Unknown are going to take their first game in the final group versus xGame, dropping xGame 0-2, but xGame, they're not quite done yet. They have one more game today, and it's going to be coming up next in about 30 minutes versus BBC. So they're running the gauntlet right now, and so far they're not doing too hot, but there's always more games to be played, and that's going to be coming again in 30 minutes. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Mr. Blackadder for this cast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that follow button, guys. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. For me, it's at Mike Loris. For my co-caster, it's at Mr._Blackadder. It's all in the title, and we'll be right back in about 30 minutes for the third game of the day, xGame versus BBC. Congratulations to Basically Unknown for taking this win.